All right, this video is going to share how we add and subtract polynomials. So these types of questions you can definitely see on the GED test, although you will see more of multiplying and or dividing polynomials. But it's silly not to cover this because they're easy points. Once you wrap your head around it, they're super easy points to gain and get that question right should you have it on the test. So when we're adding polynomials, typically they'll separate the polynomials using parentheses. So if those parentheses are there, we want to just drop them. You're basically ignoring them. And then you want to combine like terms. So I know we talked about what terms are. We talked about them being a number and or variable connected by multiplication and or division. But we didn't really talk about like terms. We talked about terms being separated by addition and subtraction. But the difference here is when we're talking about like terms contain the same variables raised to the same power or exponent. So again, if we look at a couple examples here, if I have 5x squared and 6x squared, these are considered like terms because it has both terms have the same variable, x here, and the same power. Okay, the coefficients, this 5 and 6, do not have to be the same. Okay, so if I look here, if I have half y to the fourth and 5y to the fourth, these are also considered like terms. As long as the variable and exponents are the same, they can be combined if there's an operation in between the two. If I have 5y cubed and 5y squared, these are no longer like terms because here I have y cubed, and here I have y squared. Since those powers aren't the same, these are not like terms. Okay, so let's go through how to add and subtract polynomials here using that knowledge. Okay, so if we look here, a prompt on the test could be to either simplify or add these polynomials. So we see here we have a trinomial because there's 3 terms, plus another trinomial. And really all we're doing when we're adding polynomials is we're organizing. Okay, so I use a method of using shapes. If you're really handy and you have highlighters, you can use color. The only thing I would say there is on the GED test you can't use that. So I would actually recommend shapes. So if I look at this first term here of 19x squared, I can just circle it. And I want to look for other terms that also have x squared. So if I just go all along my list here, here's another x squared term. So now I'm just making this pretty. I'm just simplifying these. I'm combining them. Think of it like you have 19 tokens and 7 tokens. So now I have 26 of that same token. I have 26x squared. Okay, now let's just go to our next term. I have a positive 12x. And then I'm just going to look for other x's. Here's one. Positive 10x. So 12x plus 10x now gives me 22x. So you combine, in this case, the coefficients, or simplify the coefficients, whether it's add or subtract, depending on what it is, and you just keep the variable there. All right, next, I'm just a left to right kind of girl, so I'm going to look at this positive 12, positive 13. If I combine those, I now have a positive 25. Okay, so this set's not too bad because they're all positives. We don't have to deal with any integers as far as positives and negatives go. But this expression here is equal, completely equal to this expression. This is just simplified. So again, your prompt could be simplify, or it could be add, or it could be find the sum of this polynomial and this polynomial. And we have to know that the word sum means addition. Okay. Let's go to our next example. We have 4x squared minus 6x plus 7 plus negative 19x squared minus 15x minus 18. So let's use the same logic. I just circle my first term and look for other terms that have the same variable and same exponent. So here's an x, but doesn't have a 2, so that's not like. So here's negative 19x squared. So this goes back to our integers knowledge. Okay, so if I have 4 and I'm combining that with a negative 19, I definitely have more negatives, and I have 15 more negatives. So a 4 plus a negative 19 is negative 15x squared. Go to our next term, we have negative 6x and a negative 15x. When you're combining those, you want to think of it like you're adding those. So you have a negative 6 and a negative 15. I now have a negative 21x. And you can just put that negative as if it's a minus. So for now, we have negative 15x squared minus 21x. Next, we have a 7 and a negative 18 that we want to combine. So 7 minus 18, or 7 plus a negative 18. I have more negatives, and I have 11 more negatives. So this is definitely combining your knowledge of integers and those integer rules. So if you need to review those, I believe they're under Learning Plan 5, under the quantitative problem solving. It's 5 or 6. I'm pretty sure it's 5. You might want to review those. All right, next we have add 2x squared minus 5x plus 6 and 3x squared plus x minus 4. So again, just left to right. And you can pause the video and try it yourself, would be a great idea. So here we have 2x squared, 3x squared. We now have 5x squared. We have negative 5x and a positive x. So if you just have a plain variable, there's an invisible 1 in front. So this is negative 5x plus 1x would be negative 4x. Then we have 6 plus a negative 4, or 6 minus 4 would be a positive 2. So 5x squared minus 4x plus 2. Next we have 2a, an a, and a 3a. So 2a plus 1a is 3a plus 3a is 6a. Then we have a negative 5 plus 6 is 1, plus a negative 2 is negative 1. And again, I encourage you to pause the video and try these. Add this polynomial plus this polynomial. We have 3y squared. And y squared, remember there's a 1 in front. It's really helpful just to put it there. So adding those, I have 4y squared. I have a negative 6y and a negative 2y for a negative 8y. And a 2 and a negative 5 for a negative 3. So all of these we've done so far have partners, right? We have this 3y squared and 1y, this y term and this y term, and these constants. If they didn't have a partner, so just a little sidebar here, if I had this, say I had these and they want me to add these. I have a 2x to the fourth and a 6x to the fourth, so that gives me 8x to the fourth. Here, a 3y, I don't have any other y's, right? So I just need to bring that down, plus 3y. And then I have my constant of negative 5. I don't have anything to combine that with, so I just keep it. So if it doesn't have anything to combine with, you just bring it right down. Next, I have 5b plus b, which is a 1b, right? Plus 2b, so 5, 6, 7, 8. And then here I have negative 6, negative 4, so that's negative 10, plus 3, which is a negative 7. So 8b minus 7.